Hello, Daryl here. The channel is Programming in Any Language. The supporting website is www.black-duck.com. You find the videos and PDFs of the code there in most cases. The video is the Anything Database version 2, part 9, Search. Search is the final piece of this application. It's not necessary when we only have a few records, but it is mandatory if you are dealing with a database of thousands of records. In the array section, we've seen the sequential search and the binary search. Both of these methods could be applied here. In addition, we could set this up so the user could search on any field in this database, even combined fields. But in this video, we are keeping it relatively simple by confining the search to the last name only. And our search mechanism will be a sequential search. With the aid of another Boolean, we will modify the update button to actually perform the search. You should find this process quite interesting. Let's give it a go. Back when we were looking at arrays, we looked at the binary search and a sequential search. I think the bubble sort was involved in that thing. There's a bunch of different processes. We're going to implement search in the Anything Database version 2, part 9. And that's what we're looking at right now, is the Anything Database version 2, part 9, search. If you look at the search criteria right here, we're going to enter the criteria, which means we have to enter something we're going to search on. This takes some decision making what we want to do. We want to search by zip code, we want to search by first name, last name, whatever. You have to make a decision what you want to do or open up the door for all these possibilities. I'm going to keep it simple here. We're just going to look at on last name only. And we're not going to employ any sorts or anything like that. We're going to do a simple search where we're just going to scan through the list and find the records we need. If we look at the search criteria, enter search, flip buttons, we have the ability to go down to the find and down to the cancel here. Remember, the update's all part of this too. We're not going to be dealing with the update in a sense. We are, but we're going to use the find piece to do all that kind of thing. And that's going to take place inside the update. Even though we have a separate criteria here, doing separate things, we're going to make it part of the update routine by doing a couple little tricky things to make it work nice and smooth. Let's clear this up a little bit. And look at this. We're going to have a flip buttons routine where we're coming in, running search criteria, like looking for duck, looking for FUD, whatever, one of those cartoon characters. And then we're going to have the ability to cancel that and get back to where we were, which is straightforward. But then we're going to be doing the find. And the find is going to be our update button, which is going to be changed a little bit. And it's going to have a third piece in it. Rather than edit and add, it's also going to have the find piece in there. And we're going to display the results and flip the buttons if we find something. You know, that's going to be exactly what happens, or what we have to think about. What's the form going to look like? Well, in the form, we've got all the pieces here. We're going to be using all this and displaying all this stuff. But if you look right here, we've got txt search name, which is hidden behind the text last name. So we've got other fields to deal with that we haven't dealt with before, the txt search name. We're going to allow the user to place the search criteria into this text box right here, or what looks like this text box. It's actually a text search name text box, which will be visible to the user. Navigation will not be active. The buttons will be turned off except for update, cancel, and search. I'm showing update here. What happened to find? Where did it go? Update's going to get its name changed, so it looks like find. That's how we're going to handle that thing. So we're going to actually have a cancel and a find button here. Button update is going to be doing all that work. So it sounds a little tricky, might be a little confusing. It may take some time to actually implement something like this. You have to think about it and do it slowly, one step at a time. But once you do it one step at a time, it all starts to make sense and it falls into place. So let's take a look at this. The first thing I want to do is go into my search routine, which is right here, and click on it and create that button. So there it is, button search. We've got it sitting here. And again, we only want to search if we actually have something to search on. So we need to have our int record count greater than 0. So we can place this guy right in here in that place and make it happen. Put our ellipses in, put our else in, and put our message in, which is going to tell us no records loaded for search. We don't have any records. We're not sitting on something we could actually search on. We don't have any records off the database. So that takes care of that piece. That means that all the work's going to be taking place in here. And what do we want to do? Well, if we look at the very, very top of our screen, top of our code, remember we have these Booleans sitting out here. We're going to add another Boolean. We're going to have bool, BLN, searching. And we'll make that equal to false. We're going to use that in the update criteria. So that's why we need this little piece put in there. So we'll put that in place. Go back down now. And we can now set our button to true. BLN searching our Boolean, I should say, equal to true. Missing an R in here. There we go. That's going to turn on the indicator, so we know our flag, so we know we're searching. If you look at our form now, right in here, we've got this guy right. Let's bring our properties up. We're looking right here at this guy, and this happens to be txt last name. We're going to send this thing to the back. And remember, this guy is, I think he's turned off. He's not enabled or whatever. We're going to send him to the back. And what's going to appear here now is txt search name. So a totally different text box is sitting right here in that place. And its criteria, it's got a maximum length of 20, just like the original text box. Basically, it's built on the original text box. It's visible false. So it's not being seen right now. We don't see that at all. How about the enable property? It is enabled, so we can actually use it, but it's not there. We don't see this thing. So we have that thing to worry about right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our code, and we're going to say txt last name dot visible is equal to false. Turn off last name. Txt search name dot visible is equal to true. We're going to turn on search name text box. Then we're going to change the bnt update dot text is going to get changed to find. We're actually going to change the coding on this thing so it appears to be find instead of update. We'll do our flip buttons routine, and our label will be lbl user message dot text is equal to enter last name to be searched, and we'll leave it as at that. So that's all we need to do to our button search button. Do a quick file save on it, do a run, and we have a bill there. Okay, let's see what that is. Missing a semicolon on line 420. Let's see where that is here. Oh, it's me. Okay. That'll fix that. Do a file save. Run. Let's do our load. Bring somebody up there. We've got some people up there right now, so we've got that up there. We know Elmer Fudd is out there. We'll just search on him real quickly and do a search. And if we click on this, notice all the buttons disappear. We have a find and a cancel. So update did get changed nicely, and we have a place to actually put in the last name. We can type in Fudd here, for example, and then do that search and do a find on this thing. Find isn't going to work, so update's not going to happen. Cancel might. Yeah, cancel kind of works. I'm not sure if everything is there, but we do have operation cancel. So we'll exit out of here and get to our code. One thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and take a look at our cancel button and see what it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and go to our form, click on cancel. And this is right here. This is where it's set up for the editing piece. We're going to add a little piece to this thing now. We want to say here right after the clearing text boxes is if not BLN searching enable text boxes. So in other words, if I'm not searching, if I'm doing an update for an add or an edit, we want to enable the text box. That's what we have actually down here. So I'm going to pull this out of here. Something we don't want to do when we're doing a find. We also want to go in here and right after we did the BL editing, we're going to flip boxes, the record pointer, so we're sitting there. That's all fine. But right after this piece right here, one of the first things we want to do is we want to make sure the BNT update button dot text is back to update. In other words, get that find out of there where we're done with that thing. For canceling, we want to go back to an update command if we're going to be doing an add or an edit. We can always change it back to a find if we do another find. We want to add in the Boolean searching is equal to false. So we're going to turn off all those Booleans now are all done. The other thing we want to do is we want to go in here under the edit and we want to say that txt search name, first of all, txt search name dot visible is equal to false. Txt search name dot text is equal to quote quote. We're just clearing it all out, putting things back the way they were because we canceled out of this thing. And we're going to say txt last name dot visible is equal to true. And that should be all we need to do on this thing right now. We got an extra L in there. We'll get rid of that. Never fine. And a semicolon. And we're looking good. So now our cancel is ready to go back to what it should be when we get into here. So all those pieces are in place. We can do a file save real quickly. Take a look and see if our cancel works nicely now. Do our load. Our guys are there. Let's look for FUD. FUDD, do a find. We're not going to do a find, we're going to do a cancel. And now everything's back the way it should be. Notice this is all clear. You can't do anything in here. Our navigation is on. We're showing still the number of records. Update is actually back to update. You can't see it here because it's invisible. We have it turned off. But so find is gone now. And we're all set to go. This looks like it's going to be just fine. So let's go ahead and click exit. And let's take a look at this update button. That's really where all the work is going to be done now. So we're going to go into our update button. And if we look at the Boolean adding, we're not going to do anything here. This is fine. If it's adding, we want to do this. If it's editing, we want to do this. But we want to add an else if here, right in here. And we're going to say else if BLN searching and put that in place here and do something in here. Else message box shouldn't be here. So now we have a searching area right here. Let's bring this thing up so we can actually see it. The things you want to do is here, we want to take our search name and we want to create in a string str search name is equal to txt search name.text plus str 335 blanks dot substring 0, 20. In other words, whatever we entered into the database, FUD, duck, whatever, is going to get padded so it's actually DUCK with a bunch of blanks on the end so we can match and search on our text file exactly what we're looking for. Because all those fields on our lists have those blanks associated with them. If we try to just look for FUD, it's not going to find it. But FUD blank, 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 it's going to find FUD blank, 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 blank because it'll be out there. We want to go ahead and set our int record pointer equal to -1. In other words, we're going to point at nothing. If we find nothing, it's going to be -1, so we won't find anything there. So we want to keep it this way. And we're going to start our for loop now. Now we got our record set to -1, our in record pointer set to 1. We're going to say for int I equals 0. I is less than in record count. In other words, we're going through the entire database of records. If we have 6 records out there, we want to go through 0 through 5. As long as it's less than 6, we're going to be fine here. And we're going to increment I for our loop. Then actually create our loop. So inside here is where we're going to actually do our loop here. We're going to say right here, if last list last name I is set equal to str search name, we found our stuff. We want to say int record pointer is equal to I. In other words, that's where our record has been found. And then break. We don't need to do the loop anymore. We can simply get out of there. That means we found it. If we don't find it, int record pointer is going to stay at a -1. And that's all we'll have to worry about. Now, the search being done, right under here, we can examine int rec pointer. So if int record pointer is greater than or equal to 0, greater -1 might work too. I'm going to say greater than or equal to 0. We want to say fill text boxes int rec pointer. We found it. Nice to have these methods done for us that we used before. We can just use them. And when we say LBL user message dot text is equal to record found. Else we didn't find it. So we're going to say clear text boxes. And LBL user message dot text is equal to record not found. And that should be all we need to do to make this all work. We also want to go under here, since we're in the search criteria, and do a lot of this stuff we need to do. And some of that will be display record count. I'm not so sure if we actually need to do this. We didn't change the record count at all. BNT update.text is equal to update. We want to place this back. We did it for cancel. We need to do it here as well. We want to say flip buttons. We want to do all that text search stuff. First our cancel, but we can make it a lot easier here by simply using the cancel. Yeah, it'd be easier just to find the cancel by going down here and looking at it. There it is. And yeah, all this stuff we want to do. So we're just basically going to take this stuff here. Not answer this stuff right here. And Control C. Now I'll go to our update, which is right down here. And lay this right in after the flip buttons routine. And exactly we want to turn take all the booleans, make them false, and we want to take our text search name, make it visible, make that false, clear it, and then make the text box visible so we can actually see the text box again. And then we're actually done here. So that cleans all that up. File, save all. Let's do a run. Here we go. Here's our stuff. We'll load everything. We know FUD's out there, so we're simply going to say search. Oop, no records found. Why not no records loaded for search? You're right, I didn't put anything in here. Okay, that's good. That works too then. So we want to do is, oh, we need to load. That's interesting. This is actually giving us an error because it's not noticing, even though I did the load, it did not look for loaded for search. So let's go and fix that piece right in there. That's happening on the search button. Let's go to our search button, take a look at this. If record pointer is not equal to 0, or greater than equal to 0. So int record pointer is greater than equal. We're not pointing at a record. That's what we're looking at. We really want to say int record count. We don't want to point at any records. We're going to say int record count is greater than 0. That's what we want to look at. That should do it for us. So that's an error right there. Now we fix that thing up. What we're actually looking at. Let's do a run. Bring it in here. Do our load. We have records here. Let's try search now. Now it works. It recognizes the fact we've got some records out there. We can start looking for something. We're going to look for pig and do a find. And record not found. There's no pig out there. All right, let's do another search. We'll do a FUD and do a find. And FUD was found. It found all the pieces in that thing. Cool. Search for duck. Do a find. Duck is found. Now look at this. Search for let's just make it D-U-C-K. We'll make it in small case here. Find. Not found. It has to be an exact match of what you're actually looking for, unless you want to use two upper and two lower to do your search, so you're looking at any difference you might see in where the names are actually entered into the record. And sometimes that's important to do. If your database has a conglomeration of data in it, and upper and lower case was not watched when it was actually entered into the thing in the first place, then you might want to set everything to upper, everything to lower when you're actually looking at it. They do this in password checking. Not so much the passwords, they have to be exact, but the username coming in that you enter can sometimes be anything. So you'll type in your username. If you screw up the uppercase, lowercase, it doesn't seem to care. It just takes it. But it is very precise when it goes and looks at the text piece, at the password piece, and makes a look at that. So we're finding this thing. So he's all there. And we can do whatever we want now with this stuff. When we find something like this, who's our last one? Bird? Is Tweety Bird in there? I don't think he is. Let's see. He is in there. Okay. And we could delete Tweety Bird now. We could edit it. Or jump there and make it Mr. Tweety Bird. Oh, I got to take some spaces out. Mr. Tweety Bird. And do an update. And now that just worked fine. Let's navigate to that last record. Mr. Tweety Bird is sitting in there very, very nicely. So that's all working. So search isn't all that bad. It's not all that difficult. Now, if you want to implement a search that's going to sort all the records for it, it takes some thinking to how you're actually going to do that. When do you want to sort the records? What do you want to keep in place? That's where databases come into place. We end up with indices or indexes that keep track of things where they are, no matter where the positions of the records are. We keep the records in a database in a fixed location, but we set up a search criteria and sort that. So we're actually searching on this, and we will point to the records where they are when we find them in the database. You'll see that when we talk about database work down the road. But this is searching in a nutshell. And that's the Anything database in all its glory. Later, in the section on structures, you'll see version 3 come to life. There, we'll use a single list and a structure to hold all our data. But that's for down the road. Thanks for watching. Visit the website when you get a chance. And please subscribe to the channel. There's more stuff coming every week. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.